Best story for listening. Listen and repeat after me. The miracle of love. A poor man was married to a beautiful woman. The man and his wife never quarreled. The husband loved his wife, and the wife loved her husband. They were very happy together. However, this happy couple had a rich, handsome neighbor. One day, the neighbor saw the poor man's beautiful wife and fell in love with her. "I want to marry her," he thought. Every day, when the woman's husband was working in the fields, the rich man visited the poor man's house. "You are a beautiful woman," he said to her, "but your clothes are old. Why doesn't your husband buy you new pretty clothes? I'm sure he doesn't love you. If he loved you, he would give you wonderful clothes. Divorce him and marry me. I'll buy you the finest clothes in the land, and you will be the most beautiful woman in Ethiopia." At first, the woman didn't listen, but the rich man came every day repeating the same words. Eventually, she began to wonder, perhaps my neighbor is right. Why doesn't my husband buy me beautiful clothes? Perhaps he doesn't love me. That night, she spoke to her husband. "Look at me, husband. My clothes are old and ugly. I want new ones. Buy me some new clothes." Her husband smiled and said, "You don't need new clothes. You are the most beautiful woman in the world to me." But she became angry. "Don't you love me? If you love me, buy me a new dress." The husband loved his wife and wanted to please her. "I have very little money," he thought. "I need a new plow, but I want my dear wife to be happy." The next day, he went to the market and bought her a new dress. He gave it to her, and she put it on. "Thank you, my dear husband," she cried. "Now I know that you love me." When the rich man came again, she showed him the dress. "You see," she said, "my husband loves me. He bought me this beautiful new dress." The rich man shook his head. "A good husband doesn't just give his wife clothes," he said. "He gives her gold. Where is your gold necklace? Where are your gold rings? Why doesn't your husband give you those?" He opened a box, revealing beautiful gold jewelry. "Divorce him and marry me, and I will give all of these to you," he said. The woman did not listen. "Go away," she said. "I love my husband, and he loves me. We are happy together." But the rich man returned every day, showing her the jewelry. Slowly, she began to think, perhaps the rich man is right. Why doesn't my husband buy me gold? Doesn't he love me? One evening, she did not cook dinner. When her husband came home after a long day in the fields, tired and hungry, she said, "There's no dinner for you tonight. You don't love me." "What?" her husband exclaimed. "But I love you more than anything. You are the most wonderful person in the world to me." "Then why don't you buy me gold jewelry?" she asked. "A man who loves his wife gives her gold necklaces and rings." Her husband looked worried. "I spent money on her new clothes," he thought. "How can I find more money for gold? I'll go to my brother and borrow some. I must buy gold for my dear wife. I want her to be happy." The next day, he visited his brother. "Lend me some money, brother," he said. "I'll work in your fields to repay you." "All right," his brother agreed. "But you must work hard. My field is full of stones, and you must clear them all away." The poor man agreed, took the money, and bought gold jewelry for his wife. She was delighted. She put on the necklace and rings, exclaiming, "Look at me. Am I not beautiful?" "You are very beautiful," her husband said. If you are happy, I am happy. She embraced him. Thank you, my dear husband. Now I know that you love me. But the rich man was not done. Your husband gave you clothes and jewelry, but I can give you more, he told her. Can your husband perform miracles? I can make miracles because I love you. Love makes miracles. Make a miracle for me now, the woman demanded. I can't, he replied. You must promise to love me first. Leave your husband and come to me, and I will perform miracles for you. That night, the woman told her husband what the rich man had said. Her husband was deeply troubled. That wicked man wants to take my wife, he thought. First it was clothes, then it was gold. Now it's miracles. I must find a way to stop him. The next day, as he worked in his brother's field, he prayed, "O Lord, help me make a miracle. I love my wife and want to keep her. Don't let this rich man take her from me." At midday, he rested under a tree and saw a man sitting nearby. "Who are you?" he asked. "I am a wizard," the man replied, "and I have a gift for you." He handed the poor man 2 sticks. Touch someone with the first stick, and they will become a donkey. Touch them with the second stick, and they will become human again. The poor man smiled. "Thank you, my friend," he said. "God has sent you to me." He rushed home. "Wife, come here," he called. "I'm going to perform a miracle." His wife came out, curious. "What miracle?" He touched her with the first stick, and she instantly turned into a donkey. "Hee-haw!" she brayed. He then touched her with the second stick, and she became human again. "Amazing!" she exclaimed. "It's a real miracle." "Tomorrow," he said, "we will deal with the rich man." When the rich man arrived the next day, the woman touched him with the first stick. He transformed into a donkey. "Now," she said, "you can help my husband in the fields." For many years, the donkey carried heavy loads for the poor man. Eventually, when it grew old and tired, the poor man used the second stick to turn it back into a man. The rich man, now bent and weary, returned home, never to trouble them again. As for the poor man and his wife, they lived happily together for many more years.